guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new around here, my name is Sophie. I make videos on motherhood, cleaning, budgeting, organising and just general life really. And yeah, for today's video, you would see in the title, it's my motherhood Q&A. So I don't believe I've actually done one of these before. I know me and Liam have done a Q&A, which I still need to do an updated version of, but I thought I would sit down tonight with my pillow and film this. So today has been a really tough day, probably one of the most challenging days yet of motherhood, and that is because one, I feel a little bit rubbish in myself. Two, I got up late, which honestly affects my whole day if I do that. And three, Otis hates napping, and we'll come more to that in a bit. But yeah, it's been a challenging day and only tiny little things have happened, but sometimes it just sends you over the edge. So I thought it'd be a good time to film this because I want to be true and real, and if anyone else is struggling out there, I just want you guys to know that a lot of people go through this. Pretty much everyone goes through bad days. So yeah, I'm feeling loads better now. It's about 7 o'clock, I believe, 7:15. I've got my baby monitor. Otis is fast asleep. Liam's out for the night, so I thought I would film this. Excuse my parents, to be honest, I don't really care what I look like. This is real life motherhood. I'm putting this here in case I have a little nip slip because I don't have a bra on. Just keeping it real, guys. So yeah, I asked on Instagram earlier today for any general motherhood questions. So I hope some of these questions and answers help you guys, or just, you know, are comforting to hear. So yeah, I've got a mixture of questions, not too much. I'm hoping it's not going to be a really long video because I don't want to bore you. But yeah, I thought I'd get straight into it. So I've got my pad here, so if you see me looking down here, that's what I'll be doing. So my first question is, how did you get into a routine? So for me generally, before I even had Otis, routine is a massive thing for me. I thrive off routine, and yeah, I'm an organisation queen, so for me this was a massive thing to get into. Yeah, so how did we get into a routine? So I tried to enforce a routine quite early on. I know that when you're in sort of the newborn bubble that it doesn't always happen, and to be honest, some days we don't have a routine at all. But for me, getting into a routine was, I was focusing on feeding. So I was breastfeeding at the beginning of for 4 months, I can't remember now. So that was a struggle, but I would say we got into a routine around the sort of 3-month mark. And like I said, this was just going on feeding time. So I think I was feeding sort of every 3 hours around that time. And yeah, it just kind of happened. And then once we started weaning as well, and I started weaning around 5 months, this also helped because I introduced an evening feed, and then obviously the weeks went on, and then we started doing breakfast as well, and then it gradually turned into a lunchtime feed as well. So that's how I would say I got into it, by feeding. I know people go on nap windows, and we'll get to that in a minute, but Otis is a rubbish napper, so I really struggle getting into a routine with following his nap schedule, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think for me, just going by feeding would be the way I would do it again, and that's how we did it. So I hope that helped. I hope that answer helped you if you asked me that question. So yes, that is my routine, and now he is 9 months old, and this is our sort of kind of routine. So he wakes up around 7, we give him a bottle in bed, so he comes in our bed and we do that because I just love the snuggles with him. He doesn't move yet, like crawling, so he is just happy to sit there and watch a bit of like a few cartoons while having his morning bottle with us, and then we will bring him downstairs around 8 o'clock and he will have his breakfast around 8:30. We try and encourage him to play around this time, but sometimes it will just be into the high chair straight from coming downstairs. He is awake. I've got to go, 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Otis decided to wake up, but he's gone back down literally 2 minutes later. Perfect. I'm gonna hurry up. So yeah, going back to the routine. So where did I get to? So breakfast. He then has breakfast around 8, half 8, and we do porridge, and then he goes up for a nap. If he does, he might not, around this sort of time, 9 o'clock. We then give him lunch around 11:30, 12ish, and then a bottle around 1. His bottles, by the way, are 8 ounces, and then around 2, I would say that's when he would have his afternoon nap, if he has an afternoon nap. And then at 4:30ish, 5 o'clock, we give him dinner, and then it's bath if it's bath night, and bottle at 6 o'clock, and then that is his bedtime, 6 o'clock. Because he's not a great day napper, we have to put him to bed at this time because he is just so tired, and it's lovely, to be honest. 6 o'clock hits and I'm like ready for a bit of me time, and that's okay. That is absolutely okay. So yeah, that's our current routine. So the next question is, did Otis struggle putting weight on at the beginning, and how did you help this? And yes, he did. So Otis was born 8'4", which was a healthy big baby. Big, average, I don't know. So he was born a healthy weight, and then he really struggled gaining weight. I was breastfeeding at the beginning, and do you know what? Breastfeeding is such the hardest thing, I think, in motherhood, for me anyway. And I've done loads of videos on breastfeeding, so if you're interested in that, I'll link them below. But yeah, I don't think he was getting enough on the boob. So I was worried about it. We had a couple of like health visits to check his weight and stuff, and he was just slowly putting weight on, but not loads, not where he should have been anyway. So we decided to introduce formula, which Otis thrives on formula, and he did from the minute he had it. It was a hard thing to do because I really wanted to carry on breastfeeding, and I did carry on breastfeeding. I'm not going to go into my breastfeeding journey, but a little bit. I had really bad nipples. I don't think he latched right. If I have another baby, I'm definitely going to get more support next time. But yeah, that was a hard thing. So anyway, once he started having formula and a mixture of breast milk and formula, he started gaining weight, and I would say this would have been around 12 weeks. And then once I stopped breastfeeding, which was January, so Otis for about 3.5, 4 months by this point, he was obviously having just pure formula, and he gained weight massively, which obviously in a good way. And ever since then, he's been a chunky little boy, bless him. He, like I said, he absolutely thrives off formula, and I'm just happy that we decided to do that. And yeah, he's a chunky little man now, bless him. But he is awful with eating at the moment. We started weaning early. I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not. At the time it was. Or he might just be going through a fussy phase now, but he's just not interested really in having loads and loads to eat, which also is okay. Yeah, so weight wise he's absolutely fine now. So yeah, that's our little journey on his weight. So the next question is, what is the hardest thing about motherhood? I would say for me it's the time to yourself. I wouldn't have it any other way, but like I said, Otis doesn't nap very well in the day, and sorry, that was a bit rude. Otis is rubbish at napping, so the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to bed, it's go, go, go basically. And when he does nap, it's bliss because I do get that time to myself. And yes, I like to get things done when he naps, just because otherwise it just doesn't get done, you know? So yeah, that's what I would say is the hardest thing, is time. But I know it'll get easier, and I know we'll find a better routine with naps, whether he naps or not. I am lucky that he goes to bed quite early because now I get the time to myself, which I love. So yeah, that's what I would say is the hardest thing. So the next question is, how did I get confident with giving Otis finger food? Now, I am a wimp when it comes to weaning. I worry so much about him choking. Otis has quite a high gag reflex, is that what you say? He gags a lot. And we had a little episode when he was about 7 months old where he didn't choke, but he gagged a lot and was sick. And this really freaked me out. So yeah, it's a massive worry. However, now he is getting so good with finger food, and it's just to set, like, the question is, how did you gain confidence? I would just say it's time. Give yourself a break, and if one day you just give them purees, that's absolutely fine. They obviously, Otis thrives off finger food and he loves feeding himself. He's also really good with me feeding him too, so I'd say we do a mixture of baby-led weaning and feeding, what's it called, where I feed him, you know what I mean. But now he is getting to an age where he just wants to feed himself, so, and this is really good for time as well. I do try and have some meal times with him, but not every day is the same, especially dinner time. He has his dinner quite early, and then me and Liam have dinner later, and I know this will change as he gets older and stays up later, but breakfast we sort of have it together. Lunch we'll try and have together as well, but yeah, when he's feeding himself I can pop him in the kitchen while I'm cooking or cleaning or whatever, and that's really handy. So yeah, I'd say how did I gain confidence would be just time, and start with really melty foods. And if I'm honest, I don't give Otis much like harder foods at the minute, and I think we will, but he's having, like, he has toast, he has the melty puffs, he has fruit, he has like fritters that I make, pasta, but I feed him that. What's a really good finger food? What's my favourite finger food? It probably would have to be melty puffs. And fruit is really good as well. So yeah, just give yourself time and don't put so much pressure on it, because I think I did, and that's where I went wrong. Okay, what's my next question is, what's my favourite age so far? Apart from the newborn bubble, which is just a dream and I'd do anything to go back there, I would say this age is lovely, because Otis is 9 months and he isn't quite moving yet, which again worries me. Everything worries me. But he's not moving yet, so it's quite nice. He will just sit and play, so I don't have to be really like eyes, well, I do have to watch him all the time, but he's not moving around, so I know he's not going to hurt himself. But also he's got the best little personality coming through as well, and it's It's just lovely. I absolutely love it. He now does kisses. So if I go, Otis kisses, he goes, I'll see if I can upload a little video in here. It's just so cute. So yeah, I'd say this is my favourite age so far. Okay, the next question is, when did Otis's sleep start to settle? So Otis, apart from napping in the day, has always been a really good sleeper at night. From 8 weeks, Otis has slept through the night. I say slept through the night. When people say slept through the night, well, when I say it, I don't mean literally the whole way through. Like, I will have to sort of settle him a little bit sometimes, like I just did a minute ago. But he doesn't need feeding. He doesn't sort of need waking up or anything like that. He will just settle again quite easily. Not every night's the same, but I would say, yeah, I would say he's a good sleeper at night. And sleep is a massive thing, isn't it, for babies? Every single baby is different when it comes to sleep, feed, well, everything. But yeah, we're very lucky that Otis has slept really well from being so little. However, if anyone has any advice on day naps, send them my way. Do I need to put in bed later? I don't know. But yes, I send my love to anyone who's struggling with their baby sleeping at night, because if Otis has a night where he doesn't sleep well, I struggle, really, really struggle. So I take my hat off to anyone that has to deal with that a lot, and sending lots of love. Okay, the next question is, what's my least and favourite purchase as a new mum? Okay, let me think about this. My least favourite probably was the Moses basket. We hardly use this. We had one for downstairs when he was a newborn, and we really didn't use it a lot because Otis wanted to be on us a lot and have cuddles, which was the dream, obviously. But I just found it a bit of a waste of space. We got rid of it quite early on because he just didn't use it. We ended up using the Moses basket. I cut it into like a changing mat, which we use so much. So yeah, anything for sleeping downstairs I didn't really love, but again, every baby is different and we'll have naps downstairs. Otis slept in his cot, like the next to me cot, from quite early on for his naps, or just on his downstairs, which worked just as well. So yeah, I'd say that's probably my least favourite thing. And my favourite purchase, I'm trying to go back to the newborn stage. Oh, I don't know, this is a really tricky one. I think sleeping bags are my favourite. Sleeping bags are a dream, and yeah, they're just the best thing. I was really sceptical about buying sleeping bags, and I didn't when I was pregnant. However, they're just so easy, and I think they help Otis sleep a lot. Another favourite purchase was my electric pump. So it was my hands-free pump. If you are planning on pumping or breastfeeding, I recommend a hands-free pump, because if you're pumping as much as I did, like honestly, like 6 hours a day, you're going to need your hands for them 6 hours. So yeah, getting a really good pump has been the best thing. Obviously, I don't use it now, and I will buy a new one if I have any more. But yeah, a good pump. Oh, and a jumperoo. You'll thank me later. Okay then, guys, and the last question I'm going to answer is, have you got any advice for a new mother? Or what's your one bit of advice for a new mother? I would say, do not compare your baby to anyone else, and take time for yourself as much as you can, because you do need it, guys. I need it, especially because Otis doesn't nap very well. And yeah, just do not compare your babies to any other babies out there, because honestly, every single baby is different. I do naturally compare my to Otis to other babies who I know, but not in like a sort of like a horrible way, just like in sort of like a development age way. And I will ask questions to them mums out there that have got babies similar age and be like, oh, when did blah blah start crawling, when did you start weaning and stuff, and that's absolutely fine. And if I'm honest, it helps and it guides you, especially if them other mums have had babies before and they know what they're doing. It's a tricky one, isn't it, this mum life, and it's all a learning curve, and honestly you learn on the go. So honestly, don't put pressure on yourself, give yourself some you time, and don't compare, because you are the best mother to your baby and you know your baby. Why am I getting emotional? I might need to go in a minute because I'm going to cry. Motherhood's hard, guys. I don't know why I'm getting upset because this has been such a lovely little video, but now I'm just feeling all the emotions, and today's been hard. I've put a brave face on for this video, but I want to keep it real, so I'm probably going to keep this in. Right, I'm going. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I love doing these sort of videos and I hope you've gained something from it. I'm sending all my love to the mothers and fathers out there that are absolutely nailing motherhood and parenthood. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.